We're on air. Good evening. Welcome to February 8th, 2022 Selectmen's Meeting. All the selectmen are here except for Linda Corliss, who is recuperating right now. Our best wishes go to her. We have our town clerk, our town manager, our town finance director. Please stand with me and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, and welcome. The first order of business is the approval of our meeting minutes from January 25th.
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Without further discussion, I'll go through the roll. There's Mark. There's Noah.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
And myself is yes. There's 4 yes. Next is we have our first public comment. We have nobody here for public comment. Nobody sent in any emails or anything. We have no public hearing. Reports of committees, department reports, appointments, presentations, or other guests. We have nothing under unfinished business, unless we're going to be taking up some stuff later on. And that brings us to the town manager report.
Good evening. We have 11 properties that are headed to foreclosure. Some have reached out to make arrangements to pay, and there are others exploring other options. Payments are due by the 17th, and closings are on the 21st. Any questions on that? No. I have been asked about the town doing something in memory of Eleanor Murphy, and I've been thinking about installing a new bench and dedicating it to her. This bench would be one of the first benches as part of a new theme for the downtown. I have a design in mind, but I'd like to share it with the board and get your opinions on it, because the intent would be this is the first of the benches we would see around the town.
I know that the Envision Berwick group had been working on design elements and stuff. Have they been involved in this?
Yep.
I'm sure you've talked to them about the different designs and things. I know we've gone over it over the years. So
This is actually informally did it through email.
Yep.
And got some feedback from Jeremy, the chair, and I mean, I think
yeah, send us out the information. We'll take a look
absolutely.
at it.
The one thing that I just want to, because the design is online, so I just want to make sure when we pick a design, we're able to keep it consistent.
Right. We don't want something that's going to go out of style in 2 years.
Sure. Right.
Gotcha.
And last thing I have, we do have progress with the Memorial Field expansion. We got word back from the Cormiers. The VA had to track down an appraiser, and they did that. So we're expecting the updated closing date to be in March.
Good. That it?
That's it.
Any
Nice.
other questions for the town manager?
One from me.
Comments? No. Selectmen's communications, I have none. That brings us to our accounts payable. We have a payroll warrant number 47 for February 3rd, 2022 for the amount of $77,767.67. We have a payroll warrant number 48 for February 10th, 2022 for the amount of $77,450.51. And accounts payable warrant number 49 for February 8th, 2022 for the amount of $833,178.11. I'll make a motion that we pay our bills.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Without discussion, I'll go through the roll. Mark? Nope. Mark, your voice is off, Mark.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Noah?
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and myself is a yes. All right. New business, we have none. Quick claim deeds. No, there's abatements and supplementals. There's abatement appeal. There's, Karen is with us tonight. Karen, are you there? Yep, we hear you.
Hi there, how are you?
Not bad.
Hey, Karen.
So this is the rehash of the one we did 2 weeks ago, correct?
Right, exactly. So we're looking to see what the town would like to do, how they would like to be represented at the abatement appeal hearing that's held before the county commissioners. And that is currently scheduled for March 2nd in Alfred.
Is, we had left it, we had talked about, whether we wanted the town to represent ourselves or not. Did you speak to legal about it at all, James?
I did. I talked with Joel at Bernstein Shore. I think we were all under the agreement that this is a pretty straightforward case. I think Tom and I, we could do it if that's what we would like to do, and have the backing of a memo where they can explain the course or explain the case and some case law. And they could do a 2 or 3 page and not have to spend too much time on it. But I mean, it's pretty open and closed.
It's open and closed to us.
To us, yeah.
For people who haven't dealt a lot with the York County Commissioners, they oftentimes do things that just don't seem like they're the right things. It's amazing how many times they'll go against the town and side with a private entity. We had one case that they decided against us last year, and then after Steve went and talked to them, they re-looked at it and they found in our favor. So I think that it is pretty straightforward. I don't feel that we need to have much as I like you, Karen, but I don't think we need to have the backup from them. So welcome to hear from other selectmen.
No, I mean, I agree with you guys. I mean, when we look at what it is, I mean, what our ruling was based on was that timeline. And
Right,
that's
the timeline.
That's the timeline that we're going with, is there was more than adequate time for them to appeal that decision. And clearly, I think we all feel that has gone way past overdue.
Noah, Mark, do you have any opinions?
No, I don't right now.
All right.
I agree with everything that's been said. I mean, it's open and shut. It's just a matter of time. There's no other element to the denial except for time. So there's nothing really to appeal on. There's nothing really to argue against. It's just the function of a calendar. So it is what it is.
We don't need a vote on that, do we?
I mean, I feel comfortable with the two of you going up to the county
I
commissioner.
don't think so. I mean,
Yeah, it is, I don't know, Patty, what's your opinion? Should we take a vote on that, whether we should represent ourselves, or?
Yeah, I think just for the record.
So, all right.
I move that we send just the assessor and the town manager to represent us in this matter.
Well, it would be the assessor, it wouldn't be the assessor, it would be me.
It would be you?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I move that we send the chair of the select board and the town manager to represent us in this matter.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, I'll go through the roll. Is Mark?
Yes,
Noah?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. It's like I said, we like you and everything, but not that much. But,
No, I think you both will do a great job, and it'll keep the focus on the law and not necessarily on an assessing mistake.
right, yeah, because they're not arguing against the assessment. They were late in their filing, so.
Very late.
We'll be talking to legal again before we go up there, I'm sure. We'll sit down together and talk, though. Right. All right, thank you, Karen.
Good luck.
Yep. All right, second public comment. We have none. Now, we have an executive session that we need to go into, but we're also gonna be doing our budget review. The executive session is, typically we would adjourn the meeting, do the budget review, and come back and do the executive session, but, we can't do that and continue the live feed with the Zoom meeting. And we are going to probably be making a decision and coming back and making a vote. So, my suggestion is that we have a recess, do our budget review, then come back in and do the executive sessions at the end of that. Now, if that's all right with everybody else.
I think that seems reasonable.
So, I believe that's how Terry and Patty set it up.
Got a nod from Patty there, yes. So.
And the budget review should go pretty quickly. It's all pretty straightforward.
Yep.
So, we'll take a quick recess just to get things set up, and then we'll do our budget review, and then we'll come back in and do everything else. Great. Is, Mr. Town Manager.
Sure. We've got 10 sections or 10 departments to overview this evening. And I'll start with the first tab. I think it's all, it's all in order. Or I'll read which tab we're going from. We'll start with the general expense. It's the first tab here.
Yep.
And I'll hit the high notes on the biggest changes. You can see there's a $29,000 reduction in health insurance. That's because we have a HRA plan. We reimburse the deductibles.
Nice.
The estimates have been higher than what the actual costs were, so that's the reason for that reduction. Property and liability, it just added we now have more property.
Cool.
And our traffic signal is old and needs repairs.
The traffic signal is, if and when we do the downtown, that's all scheduled to be replaced, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we have both traffic lights need to be replaced, especially with the bridge. That should help with timings when we actually have the technology on the hardware. Any questions on general expense?
No, I think that one was straightforward.
I'll just for the public is the general expense is seeing a decrease of 3.4%.
Great. Next one I have is administration, town admin tab. There's a decrease of $27,900 due to the change in town manager. And I think that's reflected in the FICA and other pieces here.
The decrease in the longevity and the FICA and Medicare are all linked to the decrease in the wage, so.
And this is another discussion topic, but that includes changes to my salary that I think will have to be approved through
Yeah,
through the
yeah,
board.
yeah, we'll discuss that.
That's a sidebar.
We'll discuss that later.
And that's a decrease of 6.17%.
If there's any questions from the
The-
other selectmen, just jump right in and ask. So, is a lot of the increases and things we're seeing, they're all contractual.
Yeah, the one I had just a note on was the travel and training. And just for the last two that's gone up a little bit, are those workshops going to be annual, or is that like, hey, this has been, because it was way down 2 years ago and then it's been the last couple where it's kind of gone up. I didn't know if there was just like certain ones that are, biannually, if there's some that are every 3 years, or
I know
Just
there's some traveling, bigger conferences.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's,
I mean, looking at what was listed in there wasn't anything that was like a flag. It was just one of those, from my
yeah,
curiosity.
they're typically,
they are I was like, oh, it's going up a
yeah,
little
they
bit.
are typically annual.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the other thing is with the training, we are pushing the training more and more.
Correct, yes.
So we're sending more people to training.
No, and like I said,
So,
when you look at
yep.
what's listed in
Right,
there,
right, yeah.
We also have a tuition reimbursement person in there.
yes, I do see that too.
Someone's taking advantage of the tuition reimbursement, one of our employees.
Oh, nice.
All right, yep. Any other questions, comments? If not, we'll move on.
Next tab is Town Hall. The big increase is $10,000 for equipment maintenance. That includes our server,
Tab 5, Tom.
Yep.
our IT. It also includes, we recently switched over to Microsoft 365. So there's added security in there, and now everyone's on a subscription.
What are your thoughts about putting some money away for the elevator?
So in the capital improvement, which I'm proposing to be taken from, so it's a separate budget for
Right.
capital improvements. I propose 70,000
Good,
for ADA. And I think we have to do a study of the internal stairwell to see what that's gonna cost.
Yeah, just before the meeting, I got an email from Great Falls Construction. A couple weeks back, Jody and I did a walk around the town hall with them, and they sent us a preliminary, estimates for some of the work we talked about, and they had included in there for the lift and thing that we need to do some more structural studies before they can give us a real figure. So. Any other questions?
what was the figure, Tom?
Well, they didn't give anything for that, because we need to do a structural analysis.
Okay,
But we had talked to one other company about an exterior chairlift at the back of the auditorium, and they estimate that at $100,000. Because there's a lot of other work that needs to be done with that. So, like I said, this is very preliminary. They're asking for more information for us. So we'll get that to them, and we'll be better able to figure that out.
Okay, with that,
thank you.
and that's overall, there's a 7.24% increase. Debt service. That includes the fire station and fire trucks. And I think there's some town hall improvements that went along with that as well. Guess since it's on the same page, I can make a side note that we're anticipating, we've included a 5% increase in county tax and 7% increase in the school.
School budget.
Last year, the school offset their budget, where we benefited about $600,000
Right.
for the subsidy or grant that they received. We're not anticipating that again, so that's
Yeah.
for, let's see, going over to town clerk,
This way.
the third tab. This includes 3% increases for the full-time staff, market increases, performance increases as well to the department head, much deserved. Everything else is pretty consistent. GA is proposed to increase by $5,000. We're seeing an increased need. Any questions on town clerk?
Doesn't sound
No,
like
like
it.
I said, I think that's looks straightforward.
Yeah, like I said, most everything is pretty straightforward.
Yep.
So, like I said, a lot of it's being driven by contracts and so.
All right, moving on to, let's see, public agencies. This is pretty straightforward as well.
I know, Jim, sorry, before you get into that, I did have on the GA assistance, are we seeing anything to the town for COVID relief or anything from the state or federal break coming back that can go that way? Or anything that we can utilize to go towards that?
That's a great question.
I didn't realize I had that note, so I just looked at it. I
I
was like, oh yeah.
But I think there's some creative things we can do with the ARPA funds. It's a little bit more complicated. It has more the simpler, straightforward thing is to invest the ARPA funds into infrastructure because there's less means testing and but I do think if we set aside some funds, I mean, even a fraction of it, there are some pretty creative and I think impactful things that could be done and some we can look at.
Yeah, no, like you said, I think we're seeing more of an increase of a need in town with just people out of work or whatever they're trying to deal with, and if there's something that's there that helps the rest of us offset that. But-
Sure.
Okay, that was all I had.
Yep. Patty, do you want to add anything on GA?
Yeah, we do get reimbursed by the state 75% for any GA costs. So, it really doesn't cost the town a lot.
Awesome.
We're just seeing an uptick, so I want to make sure that we have the funds available before we get that reimbursement. A lot of our people are looking for a heating oil right now.
Yeah.
It's been a very cold winter, but, I think I'm comfortable with the 15,000 for the budget line. Lisa and I talked about that before increasing it. So I think that's on the mark for what we need to cover people.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and good night. I'll say good night now.
night.
James, if you could keep track of times when you resume the meeting, enter executive.
Yep, we'll keep track of
resume the
that.
meeting again, and then adjourn, that would be great.
Okay, you got it.
All right, thanks so much. Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night, Patty.
So for public agencies, we fund the Memorial Day Parade, the Citizen of the Year dinner. We fund that. They do it every other year. We typically fund it every year. Coast Bus and the Shipyard Association, those are the traditional agencies we fund.
So is the Coast Bus is, I thought I saw that they had requested $23,000 this year. Is, I know you have only 20,000. It's been 20,000 for the last couple of years. They haven't increased staff, no fees at all. So, I'll check on that again, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure I saw that they were requesting 23,000 this year. So, and the coast bus service, you know, a lot of people don't realize how many people in Berwick actually use that. Is, you know, they have several stops in Berwick, it's one of their busier places actually. And, is also by having public transportation serving the town, it helps when we go for grants and things like that, because it all counts for points on federal government
Yep.
things. And so it's an important thing to have, you know, and as, you know, society changes and more people are looking to get away from their cars, it's going to become more and more important. So
Totally agreed, and especially as things become more developed and public transit become much more feasible.
right. So yeah, I'll check on that for.
Okay, thanks. Yep. Okay, moving on to miscellaneous. Our stormwater engineer is Christy Rabaska. She's a huge help advocating on behalf of the town and the regional community we're in terms of the requirements that get put on the town, but also implementing the DEP permit. This upcoming DEP permit is very extensive. It crosses planning, code, public works, myself as well. But Christy is she's a great asset.
Yeah, she's been able to help us, you know, over the years, you know, with, I think one of her biggest assets is she's been able to delay the deadlines for us to complete projects. You know, and that's given us time, you know, because our original deadline was several years back, I believe, you know, to complete these projects. So it's worked out really well.
Right, and to the point where one of the biggest project we have is a high chance that's going to be funded by infrastructure funds.
Hopefully. Knock on wood.
The economic development count, that's Envision Berwick.
Yep.
They have provided a 5-year plan. These guys really can stretch a dollar, and they've got a lot of exciting projects coming up.
Yeah, I think for every dollar we give them, we get 10 back. You know, we really do. And it's an amazing group of people, and it evolves constantly. You know, that's one of the things I really like about that group is that, you know, people come and go, but there's always somebody else there to carry on. So it's been really, 9 years or something like that now, right?
9 years,
Yeah.
9 years. The last part here is the unfunded liabilities. So this includes sick time, vacation time, PTO, covering the rehire, retires, and things like that.
Any questions, comments? No?
Okay. Transfers. On the transfers. We'll see a couple changes here. We have to revise this, and we'll have this for the third meeting in February, the final draft. We're considering, due to the bond, the bond has to be paid back by the water users, so there will be a rate increase for the water users, which will be reflected in the public fire protection as well. Operating transfers out, proposing 1.3 million for capital improvements to be funded through the undesignated fund balance, and that will be covered on that third meeting as well. Contingency, that's the select board contingency. It wasn't funded last year. Are there any questions on that?
Well, I just want for public interest is, you know, the public fire protection, though, James mentioned that, is the town actually has to pay for the fire hydrants in town. And that's the money that we have from there. So the town pays it out to the water department, and then it gets covered back in, and kind of confusing, but it's what we need to do.
The last thing I have is BCM. I don't know,
Terry won't be coming out because of her, she's in there alone running the meetings. So
okay, great.
she won't be coming out.
I can do it then, no
And,
problem.
and I'm gonna sit back, cause, my wife is involved, and so.
Sure. So BCM, very straightforward. There's actually a 3.38% decrease. There's very reasonable increase to the director's wage. She still gets paid less than a lot of people that are in a director's position, and the work BCM does and the production and where they're going is it's admirable. Other than that, they're all pretty modest increases elsewhere. Any questions on BCM?
No, like you said, it's straightforward.
And that completes the first round of our budget review.
And just for the, Mike and Linda, I know Linda's listening, I'm sure, is we'll go through the budget like this, is we have a chance still to revise it and come back and look at these. And it's not until after we go through the whole process that we actually vote on the budget itself, so there's still time to amend things and change things, so.
Yeah, if I'm right, that's our second meeting in March. That we really sit down and.
I will just say, is having ended on BCM is something that the town needs to really start thinking about. Is, I don't know if you want to call him a communications director or a webmaster or something, but in this day and age, we need somebody in town that will do all the things that 5 or 6 people in town are doing now. Terry and James and Patty and people like that are all, putting their time and effort into trying to get things organized and the information out there for people. And, it's difficult because everybody has a full-time job. So this is something that we're gonna have to start really thinking about, is I don't know when we need to really think about it, is, but yeah, that's a position that we're gonna have to really start seriously thinking about. Any other budget items we want to talk about while we're here? As James said, there's capital improvements we'll be going over later, things like that, and so. All right, we did our budget review. Now we'll come back into our regular meeting. We stopped at second public comment. We have an executive session. One is Title 36, subsection 8412E is a poverty abatement. And then we have Title 1, subsection 4056C for real estate. We're going into executive session, we may be taking a vote. We will come back into session after the vote, but unfortunately, is because of the way the Zoom and the live feed work together, is we will record that vote, but it will not be seen in tonight's program. So, it will be public, it will be open, and then we'll adjourn after that. All right? Any questions on that? All right, I will make a motion that we go into executive session under Title 36 for poverty abatement and Title 1 under real estate.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. I'll go through the roll. Mark?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And myself is a yes. All right, thank you. We're going to be going back on the TV, but we will still be.